Hello, I'm Justine Morris, and this is your Independence Update. Calling all local talent. This Wednesday evening, Neiman's Market will be hosting an open mic night. Come showcase your abilities from 6 to 8 p.m. in their corner cafe. For inquiries, call 248-625-6460. This Sunday, April 27th, My Habitat Clarkston will be having its Impact Day, spearheaded by Clarkston Community Church, where you'll have the chance to volunteer for service projects in and around the community. You can choose from a number of opportunities like landscape work at the Clarkston schools, or taking your friendly dog to local nursing homes, or even help tying blanket fleeces together for the children at St. Joe's Mercy Hospital. To check out all the opportunities and to sign up, visit clarkstonchurch.com and look for the event titled The Church Has Left the Building. The Clarkston Area Mothers and More is hosting their spring Mom to Mom sale on Saturday, April 26th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's $1 for an entry or $2 if you'd like to enter the doors early at 8:30 a.m. Come see what's being sold at the First Missionary Church at 4832 Clintonville Road. Currently, there are still tables available, so if anyone's interested in renting one, they can email camm2m-sale@gmail.com. The Chamber of Commerce returns their Wellness in the Workplace program dedicated to mindfulness meditation this Wednesday, April 23rd. The workshop encourages its participants to embrace the gateways to happiness, clarity, wisdom, and kindness for both life and business. Backed by scientific research and hosted by teacher, coach, and writer Kathy Schaap, the Benefits of Mindfulness offers both mental and physical benefits. If you or someone you know could use help fighting anxiety, depression, PTSD, or would just like to see improvements in their self-confidence or professional performance, this class may be perfect for you. This is a two-part series where registration for each segment is $150. For more information, you can visit their website at www.clarkston.org. Mark your calendars for Saturday, April 26th at 1 p.m. for an hour of puppetry. Digby Digs Deep is being presented by Once Upon a Puppet at the Clarkston Village Players Depot Theater. This puppy-inspired theatrics is a story where we learn you should never judge a book by its cover, and by digging deep, we can uncover our hidden talents. Full of fun characters, songs, and excitement, this show is sure to please kids of all ages. Call 248-575-4104 or go online for tickets at clarkstonvillageplayers.org. Independence Television would like to announce their first annual Summer Film and Acting Camp, which will run for 2 weeks from July 7th through July 21st. The camp will be open to middle school and high school students interested in pursuing video projects and learning the aspects of filmmaking. Please visit www.itpr.org for more information. If you have a story or information you'd like for us to share on Independence Update, contact us at 248-623-3661 or email Matt Blow at mbleau@indetwp.com. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Dr. Rod Rock and the Chamber of Commerce would like to send out a special thanks to all the sponsors who helped make last week's Mind, Body, and Green Expo such a great success. Hundreds of families and members of the community showed up for what was a very fun and informative night. And speaking of Dr. Rock, he's actually with us today, and we'd like to welcome him in our next segment, The Thread. Thanks for joining us for The Thread. Dr. Rock, I know that the budget is always an area of concern for the school district. Can you tell us a little bit about how the budget is shaping up?
Yes, Justine, thanks for having me back. We really worked very hard on our budget all throughout the year, and we've done an outstanding job with it, particularly in the last few years, with really being very close to our estimates in terms of how much money we would spend and require in each of our areas based upon our highest needs. So we go through with each of our budget managers around this time of the year, compare that to what we spent last year, what the state is allocating, which they haven't decided yet, our number of students and other factors, and then we put together a budget. We work very closely with our Board of Education to implement that, to approve that and implement it. And then all throughout the year we watch very closely, and we make quarterly budget amendments with our Board of Education to let them know exactly where we are compared to where we predicted we would be. And then in the fall of each year we have an audit, and our audit has always been outstanding for the Clarkston Community Schools. They've really given us positive feedback in terms of all of our processes, how we use our district purchasing cards, in terms of how we allocate all of our funds, how we monitor our funds throughout the year. And when you have a budget that's around $75 million and you're very close to what you predicted you would be in terms of spending, and then this year we're under budget in some areas, so our fund equity is looking to increase, and we're having some revenues that we can distribute to meet some of our most critical needs, whereas in the past several years we've had to cut. And we've had those additional revenues because we've worked very closely with our employee groups. They've taken concessions such as contributing toward their insurance, furlough days, those kinds of things. And the state is increasing some funding finally after several years of cuts. So I think it really shows that we very, very closely monitor our budget throughout the year. We're very careful when we set the budget to make sure we're doing exactly what we need. We adjust it throughout the year, and our employees work very closely with us so that we can make sure that we're efficient. We do have critical needs in the areas of technology, operations, class sizes, and those are the things we're going to work to address with some of our additional revenues that we have, along with our entire strategic plan to make sure that we're having all the equipment, the technology, our parking lots and all those kinds of things, our teacher resources, that they're exactly what we need in order to continue to have the best educational system in the world.
All right, thank
Okay.
you. Mm-hmm. Now, last week you gave us a talk about, what was it? Oh, the vision of our district and community. Can you please share us, with us a little more about it? Where did it come from?
Well, I've spent a lot of time reading a lot of literature, a lot of research on education and on learning organizations. And Peter Senge is one of the seminal thinkers in this area. He wrote a book called The Fifth Discipline back in the early 1990s, and then he followed up with several books on education and other areas of change. And I've really thought a lot about learning organizations, and that's an interesting concept. We know that things like TV cameras and chairs, buildings can't learn. The people in them learn, the organization learns. And it's a continuous process of learning, of thinking about what are our mental models in terms of are we fixed in our mindsets about student growth and about how kids are smart, or do we see it as something that continuously learns? Are our teachers continuously learning? How do we go about shaping our students, not just according to their test scores, but according to their minds and them as individuals? So we spend a lot of time thinking about our entire organization. How do we make sure our teachers are continuously learning and reflecting? We look at other research such as John Hattie's recent work, which is a meta-analysis, which means that he's looked at literally thousands of studies of research on education and what really works, what makes a difference in terms of student learning. And some of the things he's pointed out include micro-teaching, which is teachers really looking at their own teaching. So maybe we have a teacher teach a lesson and it's videotaped, and then that teacher sits with another teacher and they talk about the lesson and how it was delivered and what might be different next time. And we have the teacher reflect on her practices and we give the teacher feedback. And according to Hattie's research, that's one of the most, that has some of the highest effect on student learning, giving teachers feedback, having them reflect on their own teaching. Another one of the high areas in Hattie's research is relationships between teachers and students. So we know, according to the brain research, that kids learn more and at a deeper level when they want to emulate, when they have a lot of respect for their teachers, when they have a relationship with them, when they know that their teachers care about them. So one of our major focuses for our school district is relationships. We want to make sure that every student is valued, that they feel like they are a member of our learning community here. It doesn't matter if you just moved to Clarkston, if you're a freshman, if you've been here your whole life, if you're a kindergartner, doesn't matter which neighborhood you came from, you belong here. This is your school as much as anybody else's school. No one belongs here more than anybody else, and no one can say you don't belong here, or you can't play this game of touch football with me. You're here, you're a member of our community, and you're very, very important. So we need kids to know that and to feel very, very safe. and that they can share their ideas and express themselves, and that we care about them and give them feedback. So those are two areas, the micro-teaching and then the relationships between teachers and students. And then a third major area is professional development. So we know that when teachers are engaged in professional development, when they're learning about research, they're learning about how to teach, about how to more deeply engage their students, that pays huge dividends according to the research. Teachers have to be continuously learning. Our organization has to continuously learn. Our administrators, our bus drivers, everybody in our organization has to continue to learn, to pay attention to brain research and 21st century learning, and to make sure that we're applying it to all of our students. So we really want to think about ourselves as an organization, about what the research says, about how we're applying that, and it's always changing, it's always growing, there's always new information. So we have to be learners. I have to be a learner as the superintendent. That's a responsibility of mine. We can't be stagnant. We have to continue to go out, learn more from the outside, bring those ideas in, and engage our teachers constantly in ongoing professional learning. And so those are the things that we're working very hard to do here with our strategic plan, with our budget, to make sure that we're the best learning organization in the world, because that's what our children require.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about what's happening in our district?
Yes, there are some great things going on in Clarkston. The high school drama club is putting on a play. It's called Almost Maine. I'm sure you've seen the brochures and so forth. It's going to be happening this Friday and Saturday at 7 o'clock. You can contact the school to get information about purchasing tickets. You know from seeing our musicals and plays in the past, Mr. Jeff Tice does an outstanding job with our drama club, and you won't want to miss this. You probably saw Peter Pan earlier in the year, and that was amazing, and this will be excellent as well. And so we want everybody to come out. We talked last week about Team Rush, and they're off right now to St. Louis, Missouri to compete in the International Robotics Competition. And I'm going to make my way out there to see them one day this week, and I look forward to that. On Friday, there's an opportunity for community members to come to Clarkston Elementary School. I believe it's at 9 o'clock in the morning, to come in and see some of the learning that's going on there at Clarkston L and the way we're trying to engage students. I know that the track teams and lacrosse, I believe I read the girls lacrosse team tied last night, and we've had big track meets. We have soccer going on. Lots of activities for our students, baseball, softball, trying to get out there on the fields that are, I think the snow just came off, so it's an exciting time of year. It happens very quickly, and we want to make sure our community gets out. The tennis team's doing very well. Girls tennis won a tournament in Ann Arbor in the past few days, and they have an outstanding team, so you want to make sure and get out and see our kids compete.
Great.
Okay?
Yes. Well, it's always a pleasure having you here. So thanks again for coming in this week.
Thank you, Justine.
Thank you, and thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the Township Supervisor, Pat Kittle. With us is Township Supervisor Pat Kittle. At last week's board meeting, you talked a lot about overweight trucks and potholes. Would you mind telling us a little bit about what the township's doing?
Well, the roads have been a topic of conversation everywhere in the state for months, as you're well aware. And, you know, potholes, you love them, you hate them, there's not much you can do about them. And the problem is, every pothole that you encounter probably ends up costing you money some way, shape, or form, in the terms of bent tire rims, blown tires, front end alignments. And it just keeps on going on and on. So, you know, we're going to start going on the offensive and see what we can do to start supplementing what's being done with the Road Commission to help make sure that we take care of our own. Potholes in and of themselves are relatively simple to make. Again, there's a visual that we have over here that just basically, you know, highlights some of the various steps, but, you know, winter weather just seems to bring out the worst in the roads, you know, with the upheavals and stuff. So again, just to kind of break it down to its most simplest terms, step one is basically, you know, the water seeps through the cracks in the roads. And the cracks are everywhere, you know, because the roads have been in disrepair for so long. And it starts to actually seep down into the soil. Step two, during the really cold weather, that soil freezes And as ice does, it expands, causing everything to pick up, both the soil, the binder, the road bed, as well as the top coat. So when it does start to thaw, the water melts and it leaves a gap in the roadway. So that area over there where the road is still pushed up, the ground and the binder starts to level. And then step 4, through normal vehicular traffic, that little dome gets collapsed, and hence you've got a pothole. It's no more, no less than that. And a lot of it has to do, again, because the roads have not been maintained properly and repaired, and they're in such a disarray through the use of, over the years, just normal wear and tear, because of heavy-duty trucks that are coming through. They are what they are. Now, we've all experienced potholes where you've absolutely felt your teeth shake, you know, and this next graphic, while it might be a little bit of an exaggeration, I think we've all had that experience like, oh my gosh, I just hit something just like this the other day. Channel 4 News with Joe Garagiola and Guy Gordon put together a little 2-minute video clip which really does kind of capture the essence of what's going on. And so I thought maybe we could play that clip and just to kind of put things into perspective from a bigger picture.
We certainly can't control the weather. It breaks up the roads, and there's very little love out there for raising taxes to pay for repairs and new road construction. But one thing that can be policed and controlled is overweight trucks on the roads. It's a big contributor to the potholes. In many communities, though, that's not happening. Guy Gordon found it's leaving local roads without a first line of defense.
We've got the latest monster of the day right here. I click on Detroit.com. This is I-75 and Goddard. But have you noticed that they're not normally on the interstate? That sometimes the worst stretches of road are local or county roads? Well, maybe it's because the people that were tasked with protecting them are no longer able to do the job. From Redford to Detroit, Farmington Hills to Fraser, formerly busy scales like these are rarely used anymore. Officers once dedicated to spot, weigh, and ticket overweight trucks are now doing regular police work instead. State revenue sharing cuts, falling tax revenues, they've left departments with far fewer officers, and they must make a difficult choice. Protect pavement or people and property.
It's frustrating because you want to get the overweight trucks. Used to be able to do that, and it helped quite a bit. It helped, of course, with money for the city, but it also helped with the roads a little bit, I believe. And we're just not able to spend the time on that anymore.
University of Michigan experts say one overweight truck can do the wear and tear of between 400 and 10,000 cars, depending on how badly the truck's overloaded. The damage is even multiplied more because of constant thawing now, and the pavement is already weakened.
It's pretty staggering if we're not enforcing it. I think it has a real impact to our roads. It's very dangerous. I don't think our roads are safe at this particular time. And with the way it is right now, you pretty much have to be a NASCAR driver to avoid the potholes.
Governor Snyder's new budget calls for 31 new motor carrier enforcement officers, and that should help protect pavement like I-75 and state roads. But for local roads, municipalities are going to have to come up with their own creative solutions. I'm Guy Gordon, Local 4.
Great. Didn't I just hear that a new Waymaster was just hired?
You know, you're right. We did partner with Oakland County Sheriff, and we brought in a new Waymaster. And again, this was basically done because of tips that we were getting from truckers who were bypassing the scales on I-75 and cutting through our township streets to avoid getting a ticket, to be honest with you. And up to that point, it had been years since any of the weight restrictions or safety restrictions were actually enforced here in Independence Township. So that's how it started, is again, because of these truckers bypassing the scales on 75. But what we did find out is that it was more than just highway traffic that was used in our township illegally. Garbage haulers, asphalt carriers, cement trucks, other commercial vehicles who, because for the last 12 years there had been no enforcement, this was kind of like the Wild West when it comes to leveraging and doing their business on our township roads. So again, one thing that we've really asked the enforcement officer to do is to focus on safety. Again, trucks with bad tires, bad brakes, who don't have the proper inspection notices, who haven't been certified with the state, whose drivers don't have the proper commercial credentials. You know, those are the guys that we want to get them guys off the road because somebody is going to get hurt. We're very lenient with warnings. We issue far more warnings than we issue tickets. However, you know, it's particularly tough on some of the businesses right now because there are weight restrictions because of frost laws. So some of the loads that they can carry have to be 20 and 30% less because of these restrictions. And it does make it a little bit more expensive for these guys to do business. but you know what? It's our roads that are getting ripped up. So, you know, so that's one of the big things that we're doing, and we're very excited with the enforcement activities that have taken place to date. As a matter of fact, because of the revenue that is generated with some of these tickets of guys who are not in compliance, we're able to actually start to fund an incentive program that we're going to put together for township residents to help local neighborhoods reinvest back in their roads. And again, what this is basically going to do, if you are in a community and you get your neighbors together and you decide that it's time to repave your streets in your neighborhood, the township will offer up to a $10,000 incentive to help you supplement those costs. If you're a designated cut-through street, that is a side street that people use to go from one main street to another, we'll double those amounts. The program is capped at $50,000, and the one thing that it is entirely paid for with Waymaster ticket fees. No general fund, no police fund dollars are being used, just ticket fees. So with that, there's a lot of other stuff going on too.
Like what?
Well, one thing that we're doing, the township is now buying $50,000 worth of gravel. Gravel has always been kind of the responsibility of the road commission, but because of such, you know, the winter was so brutal this year, a lot of our dirt roads really got washed out. We're going to cough up 50 grand. We're going to pull it out of general fund. We had $25,000 budgeted already. We're going to double it. And again, we're going to focus on the priority roads that the RCOC has identified, and those being Oak Hill, Radley Lake, Waterford, Pine Knob, South Eston, Hadley, Shappy, and Perry Lake South. Again, this is all stuff that we can do to help supplement what RCOC is doing. Now, this isn't, you know, this isn't where the RCOC is going to cut back. This is truly an additive benefit for the community based on, you know, the RCOC actions. Another activity that's going to be taking place, as a lot of people are already aware of, is Main Street M15 is going to be completely repaved, just like Dixie Highway was. And that will run from Dixie and where Main Street hits, all the way through the village, up through the rest of the township, and the majority, the balance being into Brandon Township. So that'll be happening in springtime. Obviously, the deep winter and the frost, deep frost, has slowed things down a little bit, but they are telling us that it should be done by fall of next year. And one thing that I found out as we were starting to dig through all these roads is that the township is eligible for federal funds to help improve not just our dirt roads, but our paved roads as well. The next chart showcases a federal funds program that I was informed about, that I was working with RCOC, and we're making an application to get all of our dirt roads that are eligible put into this program. And it's kind of like the lottery. You know, you don't have a whole lot of chance, but if you don't buy a ticket, you get no chance. So we bought a ticket, and the roads are identified as North Eston, Indianwood, Dartmouth, and Walden Road. Those sections over here that I have circled in red. The paved roads that are also eligible to be in this federal funds program include the following. If you could just hit the next slide. And again, Clintonville, Mabee, Walden, Clarkston, Sashaba, Holcomb. For whatever reason, nobody had ever applied for this federal program. I'm working with RCOC to get the application in. What they're telling me, all the analysis and the work should be done pretty much towards the middle to late summer. So again, my gut tells me that somebody in the federal government is going to wake up one day and say, you know, we got to help local municipalities and we got to start plowing some money into our roadway system. I'm hoping to get ahead of the curve a little bit and at least have our application in. Again, I'm not making any guarantees that we would get this. Again, there's a lot of criteria that are used, but again, if you don't buy the lottery ticket, you got no chance. Moving through too is RCOC is doing a ton on their side to try to supplement and try to play catch up. And they basically put together a 6-step plan that calls for, keeping temporary employees over until May, hiring a private company that specializes in pothole patching. I never knew there was such a thing. I guess there is. RCOC crews, continue to work overtime and extended shifts. They're bringing in additional graders to help with the dirt roads. They're hired private trucking companies to haul recycled asphalt to help stabilize the roads because the gravel pits are closed right now because of the frost laws. And they're bringing in 3 full-time mechanics and 2 part-time laborers to, again, help keep the trucks that they have in their fleet operational so that they can stay on the roads and do what they're supposed to do and help fix them up. And some of the crazy things that are going on, and there are some communities that are really starting to think out of the box. Sterling Heights is one, for example. They're going out and actually investing $500,000 into a complete system that would include an infrared asphalt machine, tools to spray patch, the actual holes so that the asphalt adheres better, recyclers, asphalt rollers, paving milling machines, and again, it's $500,000. Now, there's some differences between Sterling Heights and the township in that Sterling Heights owns their road, they're a city, ours are controlled by the county, and to be honest with you, I can't afford $500,000. But, I have been talking to Chris Barnett from Orion Township, and he's interested in maybe going halves. So what we're going to be doing is going down and actually visiting Sterling Heights, working in conjunction with the road commission, and just to see if there's any application here that we might be able to apply to Independence and to Orion, and again, just to better take care of our residents. So lots of stuff going on.
Yeah, it sounds like the township has their hands full.
You bet. It's, what a winter. Thank goodness spring is here. I'm hoping as it's dipping down into the 30s again in the evenings. I'm hoping that we're through the worst of it. Again, with the activities that the Road Commission is doing and what we have planned, we think we can at least start to become a little bit proactive with these and start to get some streets redone. But again, just in closing, I hate potholes. We've all run into them. They're here. You like it or not, they're not going away. And again, what we're trying to do is everything that we can to get rid of them. So bear with us. More to come.
Yep. And thank you for joining us. Thanks for watching.
My pleasure.